At this point, there's no padding it. I myself, and I've said before that I have a tolerance threshold for what I'll be willing to pay for Game Pass. I think this service is going to go up. The value is continuing to skyrocket. But again, as much as I think the price might go up, I still have to follow and be consistent with the excess supply reality that we have in gaming, which may also temper the price as well. Apparently, now what's being seen on the Xbox side is that Call of Duty World at War and Infinite Warfare are appearing with the little sticker saying included with Game Pass online. So this is what's going on right now. Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson reports that Call of Duty World at War and Infinite Warfare are showing this. So if you go on here, you'll see that this may be some kind of an error. I don't know. The news was first spotted by Xbox Era, who screenshotted the newly found available on Game Pass stickers on the various games. Despite the new labels, though none of the games are yet available on the service. So this is another challenge as well too, as to what Xbox might be going for in this particular regard. But I remember just a few weeks ago, Destin made a video where he where he claimed that the Activision purchase was a waste. I don't know if he really did consider what he was saying, because some other people were telling him and saying, dude, integration takes a while. And even since then, we've seen two old games. And if we think about it, or I guess I'll say a rehash of another game. How do I put Tony Hawk's, guys? I never played that game coming up. So y'all are going to have to help me categorize that one. And then Diablo 3 has now made its way into Game Pass. This is a Blizzard title. And, this is definitely something that, for the most part, when you think about it, it appears to me now that they're starting to leverage the IPs that they've basically gone ahead to get. What this does now is this actually bolsters Game Pass and makes it this hub for tons and tons of games. I mean, if you think about just the video games that Activision had published, I mean, it's insane if those games were to all make their way to Game Pass at some point. It would really, it really make things really strange for a lot of people and talking heads. I mean, let's just go ahead and look at maybe a Wikipedia page. Like, this Wikipedia page basically has Activision games all the way from 1980 to 1999. This company had been cooking games all the way from the Atari, but that's not even our deal. Let's just look at what we have from 2010 to 2019. That 9-year stretch has a lot of different video games. You can see a lot of Nintendo stuff, a lot of things that were available on PS3 and on the Xbox 360 that may start making their way bit by bit, and people are actually requesting, like Singularity. This is one that I actually saw some requests and such. Old Call of Duty games from back then, Transformers. A lot of the Transformers games that they had already made that were available on other platforms. These are not just Nintendo games. Even the old Spider-Man games, these games are actually some that people would want to play. And then if you look at the 2000s, from 20, when is this? From 2020 to present, that's about 5 years. There's still a good number of games that, they still need to go ahead and take into account. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 plus 4, this is also coming. This is going to be sold as a game across the different platforms while it comes and makes its way to Game Pass. But still, just scrolling and looking at what they did in that 9-year time frame, man, Activision was pumping games out. Goodness gracious. This is really going to push that Game Pass proposition to a very different level. And right now, I think for the most part, it starts to make a lot of sense what this was all about. Acquiring content and making that content available for everyone. If you even think about this whole conversation, let's go ahead and check out this article. Let's keep going with this article. It says it's plausible that the upload could just be a mistake, but recent rumors around more Activision titles coming to the Xbox Game Pass service has been circulating for some time, adding credence that Microsoft could be gearing up for such announcements. At the time of writing, the following games have been found with the available on Game Pass label. So Call of Duty World at War, Infinite Warfare, Pro Skater 1, and Pro Skater 2. What's not yet appeared, however, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.09, which is reportedly set to come to Xbox Game Pass this month. The rumors, which first appeared in February 2025, got more interesting earlier this week after a new rating for both Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 surfaced from the Australian Ratings Board. As of the time of writing, it remains unclear if it is the full game coming to the service or just the campaign, or if the rating is for the original version of the remastered campaign. What do you think? So, I think they are in a position where they're setting themselves up to come in here and drop these games that their fans have been looking for, waiting for, and so on and so forth. Because if you actually consider it, right, this is exactly what people have been, wanting, that have been subscribed to Game Pass, is they would love to see, their games show up on the platform when it all comes down to it. They would love to see those games come on those platforms. And even people who've never played these Call of Duty games, myself is probably one of those, I think for sure will be really elated to go ahead and check out stuff like this. Another thing that people are not necessarily thinking about is the fact that this could be a checkmate as well to, or I guess another move to go ahead and possibly put themselves out there with a conversation surrounding a game like Marathon. If you get a bunch of Call of Duty games, then you get Marathon in the conversation, I think people are going to start paying attention across the board to see where they want to participate. Now, is Marathon going to be a game that is for sale? We don't know. If the Call of Duty games show up on Game Pass, are they going to show up in a multiplayer sense with that support? We don't know, but that would be interesting if they added the multiplayer support again and maybe reactivate those servers and people can jump in there and start playing those old games from, reminiscing and the nostalgia perspective, because apparently nostalgia is the one thing that really does sell these days. We'll see how all of this comes together, though, because I still think this is a very interesting change of pace, especially seeing how the critics and the detractors in some cases were asking, so where are the Call of Duty games and all of this and all of the above? And now it seems like they're, poised to appear pretty soon. Talk to me in the comment section. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience. Thanks so much for watching the video, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.